Hey, welcome to Revamping Feathercrest. Today is going to be an update on my summer containers. I have a couple of clips from back in May when I first planted them up that I didn't get around to posting. Now I have the updates for you anyway. So it's all in one video. So you'll see kind of how they were from babies and what I chose and why. And then there were some updates along the way, which I will let you know. You'll get to see the finished product, I guess, or how they're done just yesterday. And oh gosh, I'm worried about when I have to rip them out because the cold is coming. All right, hope you enjoy. Hope this inspires you for next year and you can get thinking about things. And if you have any Canna bulbs, which are going to be, heavily focused on in these videos, make sure you dig them up after the first frost.
Today is the last day of school in May, and I decided to do up our deck container. I have 3 of these red, it's just sort of like a basic, I don't have the name, but the red flowers on them aren't huge on these cannas, but I put 1 small bulb in this pot last summer, and it grew so much that I got 16 newly sprouted cannas this winter. So they're all waiting for me to find spots in the yard and in the gardens for those. So I've got a few pots going with them, but I've got to come up with more. Anyway, so to this, I added some 2 of these Luscious Royal Red Zone Lantana. And last summer, they grew so amazing. They were probably like way out here, and probably as high as these are, if not higher. It was just beautiful, and hummingbirds were coming by and eating from them, and the cannas. It was just absolutely beautiful. And so this year, in front of that, I've planted some Superbena Royal Plum Wine on either side. And then I have this Coleus. It's the Color Blaze Coleus. Where's the name? It was like a watermelon or something. I've lost the name tag for it. Oh, there it is. Color Blaze Mini Me Watermelon. And I just think the coloring on that is beautiful and matches well with the dark sweet potato vine that I have in here. And hopefully the little bits of plum that are in there will bring out, will go well with the plum wine verbena. And then I got a little bacopa there. It's called Snowstorm. So hopefully it just sort of fills in some of the space and the gaps, as long as I keep this sweet potato vine in check. Last year it grew, I pinched it back so many times so that the rest of these could grow, and it grew all the way down to the ground and all the way around. I gotta clean up around this, but anyway, so sweet potato vine does amazing back here on my deck. It gets sun for a couple of hours in the morning as it comes over the roof of the house on the east. And then once it gets back over here around 1:30, 2 o'clock, then this gets sun all the way till the end of the day. So it gets plenty, and then it needs to be watered. Usually I have to water it twice a day. So I do full big jugs of water twice a day. I've like one of those huge watering jugs that are, the kind that makes, like that you can mix up lemonade in, but it's absolutely huge. It's one of those big ones. Anyway, so that's what I do with this pot, and I will take some updates. By July it should be absolutely enormous, and by September it's just an absolute knockout. So I can't wait to see what this one looks like this year, and I'm going to try and fertilize it on a regular basis. Last year I was spotty, but it still did amazing. My Canna leaves, as they came up, I don't know, there was something wrong there, but I didn't store them properly. But the newest leaves look much better, so hopefully it's doing better now that it's in some proper soil and had some good fertilizer. I put Biotone starter fertilizer in there, and then I added some slow release fertilizer in the soil as well, and I will be doing hopefully a weekly water soluble one. So yeah, that's the first of my deck pots. So this is how this container looked in July, and the
sweet potato vine took over. I had to take out the verbena and the bacopa. There was no space left. So here is the update from yesterday, which was like September 13th or something like that. And the cannas are absolutely huge. The sweet potato vine was attacked by something, so I had to severely cut it back, and it's empty around there. But then I got some little bits of the coleus and started to get those to root. Here's my little trusty sidekick, Peppy, right before I show you the other beautiful pot.
Today I just planted up a new container on my deck. I have these yellow toucan cannas that I saved over winter from last summer, and I really hope that those are the yellow ones. And then I've got a Supertunia Royale, and then a Priscilla, and these are the Over Easy Superbells, and then a Mini Vista White, another Priscilla, and another Superbell. So hopefully this turns into like one big mess of beautiful bluey purples, yellows, and whites, and these should stand about this tall maybe when they're done, so it should be pretty. I like it a lot, and I will update it as it grows.
Okay, here it was in early July. I think it's looking really great. All of the Supertunias were just exploding. And now, September 13th-ish, the Supertunias and Superbells are petering out a little bit, struggling with the dry heat that we had in August. But really, all in all, I'm really proud of this whole container. The cannas look absolutely beautiful, and really these are my best performing Superbells and Supertunias on the property this year. Okay, so I think really that shows you how my Canna containers did. So they were amazing in July, and both of the containers I think took a hit in the August heat. But the cannas kept on going, no problem there. So those look great. There was some Japanese beetles issues, but I look after those. I plucked off the Japanese beetles and I used insecticidal soap, and that seemed to work well. You know, the Superbells and the Supertunias in the one container did fabulously. I did trim them back once in July because they were getting kind of leggy, and then they bounced back up, and it was just a matter of keeping up with the water and dealing with the heat. But the other one of the cannas with the sweet potato vine, that sweet potato vine really took a hit with something. They were getting weird bronze patches on the leaves, but then they also were getting like pocketed sort of weirdness. I've never seen that. It was like dappled, as if somebody had taken something and pressed the leaves with like dents. It was very strange. And I couldn't find any good information online. I kept trying to search every way I could, and it just wasn't working. So the sweet potato vine had overtaken the Superbena, and the Superbena was the wrong color anyway. It was labeled incorrectly, so I ended up pulling that out of there. But it was completely swallowed up. And then the Lantana just didn't perform like it did last year. I mean, it's doing okay, but last year it really took off. So I think maybe I probably put too many cannas in there this year, because last year I had put one in and this year I put 3. So I think next year I need to leave more space for the roots for the Lantana if I'm going to reuse that. But I think I might do a different color of Lantana next year and kind of brighten it up. And I'm not like a super fan of reds, but they just all were the healthiest versions of the plants this year. So I don't know, we'll see. I do like some, and I know the hummingbirds love reds, so I just have to have something for them. But anyway, so that's my cannas. I do love cannas. I think it just looks lush and tropical, but they're super, super tough. So they just need water and a lot of sun, and they will go for it for you. And they're so easy to grow. So I start mine in early spring, like in March. I'm gonna pull the bulbs back out of storage and get them going in pots. They will start sprouting. I put them like near a garage window, and they start sprouting a couple of weeks later, maybe half a month later, maybe a month later, and then they just start growing. They're kind of slow to grow, so next spring I think I'm gonna put them in my basement under grow lights and see if that goes better, because they'll be like in the house instead of in the garage where the temperature changes. So anyway, that's what I'm doing, and hopefully that's like inspiration and ideas for you for next year. So if you can get your hands on anybody's extra Canna bulbs that they're like maybe taking out of their yard this fall, grab some, because I know I'm gonna have way too many. Last year I planted, like I said, the one Canna bulb, the red one, and I got 16 baby plants off of that. So I planted 3 of these in this container. I bet that container's just got so many. And then I have all of the other ones out in front. I planted them along the garage wall in front of our house just because I felt bad throwing away plants. I had no one who would take them. So I think I'm gonna post something on Facebook Marketplace and see if I can't get rid of them that way. But anyway, Cannas are the way to go if you want something lush, tropical, and easy. So I love Cannas. I think they're beautiful. And then the Supertunias and Superbells do great in containers. My one's in the ground and not so hot. And a big enough container that they can hold on to a little moisture, because the ones that dry out too quick, they just don't do well. Anyway, that's what I've got for you. And I hope to see you soon. Click subscribe so you can see the next video that comes out. Revamping the house. That staircase is gonna go. Well, I'm gonna redo it. So that project will be coming up. So click the notifications so that you see when that comes out.